All right.
Go Big Blue! Go Big Blue! Go Big Blue! Go Giants! Go Big Blue! New York Giants!
God, it's great to be a Cowboy, isn't it? This is how we do stuff. It's the Cowboys. We're trying to do something. Be a leader. It's time to lead the football team. It's time. It's your time.
It's our time right now. 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 We the greatest, might as well face it. Can't stop us no matter how hard you try. I know you see us taking over. It ain't no lie. It's our time right now. 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 Jerome, you like it?
And let me take you out. Good afternoon or good evening, really. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Beautiful Wednesday. It's hump day and everything. Looking forward to the Wednesday and looking forward, actually, to talking a little bit of shop.
Yeah,
A lot of
that
things
talking
going
shop is, it's always good to talk football.
Yeah. And there's some interesting things in the news today. We'll start off with Deshaun Watson. He seems to be the big story. He is in negotiation, and you can call them negotiations with the NFL on his suspension and discipline. But here's what I'm saying on this is they're taking this time with Deshaun Watson, and I'm not saying that he was right. But there are some misdeeds by owners, and we don't hear about it as much. How can you – it's basically you are disciplining someone for some of the things that the owners are doing. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think everything should be handled the proper way. And they should be they should be taken care of too. And they should be – if you're going to do it to one person, you need to do it to everybody.
Yeah, it need to be it need to be the same across the board. Unfortunately, the owners kind of dictate a lot of things in this league, and of course, there's been a lot of things that happen in the past 10 years in the NFL that need to be cleaned up. Period. I mean, that goes back to the commissioner.
Oh yeah, what's up, my man?
What's up?
How are you?
Good.
Did you get your ice cream?
Papa's gonna get some.
Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure you're taken care of.
You know what? He's always trying to come out and bust. Why don't you go in there and play until we get ready to leave? They've been begging to come over here for the last 3 or 4 months. So they hanging out with me for 5 days.
Oh, good.
They just don't know I got a lot of workouts. We're gonna pull out the ropes and everything over here.
You're gonna wait till 4th of July when it gets 100 degrees again.
No, we're gonna go out at 12 o'clock in the noonday sun, and it's gonna be the hottest of the day. We working out.
Ooh, boy.
We working out.
But back to Watson, they are saying that they're trying to negotiate 68 games. The NFL Players Association is in on the meetings too.
Yeah.
And trying to make sure that everything is done the right way. And like I said, I'm not defending Watson. He is totally wrong. But there's a lot of things going on in Oakland, Washington, Dallas, and there's things going on that need to be rectified in the NFL.
Yeah, and a lot of things about the Houston Texans, they were setting up a lot of his appointments and things like that. So it's a lot of things that need to come out in the open to make sure that everything is rectified and that we can get back to thinking about football and playing football.
No question, no question. And that goes to our next thing. If Watson is out 6 to 8 games, it looks like Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter at this time.
Right.
At this time.
Yeah.
Because Baker Mayfield is saying both sides think they need to move on.
And I think that too. I agree with that. I think the way they did him, and he don't deserve to be there, and he shouldn't be coming. He shouldn't be the person that need to show them any kind of faith, because now he need to go to a place where he can get his full focus on coming back and playing and ending his career at a wholesome type level. I think
I would agree. Yeah, I agree 100%. But here's the issue: is wherever he goes, is he going to get the combination to the stadium? Is he going to be able to sell the offensive linemen's shoulder pads at a yard sale?
I think it's 2 or 3 teams out there he can go to right now and be a instant impact, and I think he would do well. I just think that Seattle is one of the teams that need a quarterback. I think he better than the quarterback that they have there. And also, he better than the quarterback they have at the Houston Texans. So there's teams out there that he can go.
Saying that, but I just can't foresee that happening.
I'm telling you.
You said that quite a bit, but I just don't think the Texans want it. They're going to see what Davis Mills can do.
Yeah, I guess that's
I know everybody says Carolina, but the problem is as it gets closer to the season, they're going to have to eat some of that salary. It's $18 million.
$18 million, right?
Regardless of where they send them to, they're going to have to eat some of the salary.
Yeah.
That's the thing you got to realize. And there are some disconnects going on, and we'll never know the truth. But there's disconnects going on in the Cleveland locker room with Baker Mayfield. Whatever happened, and maybe it was Odell Beckham.
Yeah,
it might be
OBJ.
him, OBJ, or whatever. But there's some disconnect because either he left a bad taste in his mouth for the players at Cleveland, or he was just unbearable because nobody has taken up for him.
Yeah.
Nobody's taken him, and that's interesting. Nobody. You never hear anything. And here he says that if the Browns contact him, he'll listen. But
I think he's
there's
still
a lot of healing to do, huh?
Yeah, I think listening is one thing. I think moving on and his family, was a big part of the city as well. And I think they all disappointed in what happened and the way things happened.
Yeah. Now he's had a camp, I guess, in Lake Travis? Because he's from Austin.
Right.
He had a camp down there, and he was mentioning all these things. And it's going to be, as the offseason closes and preseason starts to go on, we'll see more and more. And it's very unlikely a quarterback gets injured in the preseason.
Well, one of the things that we know that we got a couple more days in the month of June, and training camp started in the month of July. So you're talking about 3 weeks away.
Yeah, no question.
3 weeks away.
No question. So we'll see how that goes.
I like what our producer did with that background, with that NY in that background.
Yeah, he kind of, I don't know what it is. He's losing his mind because it's the J&B talking shop. He did
a great job. He really fired me up, and with that. Oh, okay, I see that star over there on the right.
Look at this now. He's playing with it. He's playing with it now.
That looked good right there. I like that. A little head to head.
You notice how he has just my AT, not the rest of the Jim Jeffcoat.
And you know what else I did too? I sent him a shot of the football camp picture of you this weekend. And you had a little water on your T-shirt. I don't think it was sweat. I think the players poured water on you. Looked like it was sweat, but you don't sweat. You don't do no sweat.
Yes, I sweat. Especially in that East Texas heat. That East Texas heat was different.
Yeah.
I went home and took a nap. I didn't take a nap. I went to sleep. I got there, took a shower, and took a nap. That
Yeah,
was something, but it was
we
a great.
really appreciate you coming down East Texas, 180 miles, and that East Texas heat, the Piney Woods, and
I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good, and it was good. There was some talent there. When you got an 8th grader that can run a 4.5, that's pretty impressive. Now he was a Liberty Alou kid, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Liberty Alou kid.
Offers in the 8th grade.
Got free. His name Prevost. Prevost is he's legit. Penn State and a lot of schools already done offer this kid.
Does he run track?
Yeah, he do everything.
Yeah.
He's a total athlete.
Yeah, and he's got some height to him too.
Yeah, he's 6-something already.
Yeah, he's got height. And then there were a couple. There was a kid from South Grand Prairie. There was a big kid, he was really athletic and highly intelligent.
Yeah, his last name is Walker. Yeah,
he said that.
Player. Yeah, good little player.
Yeah, so he was a good player. But it was all in all was good. But let's keep talking about some of the NFL stuff.
Yeah.
I think the thing is the receivers are starting to get paid. The Commanders, Scary Terry McLaurin, $70 million contract extension.
$34 million of it guaranteed. $34 million guaranteed. So that was. I know he's happy because at first they were talking about him leaving the Washington Commandos.
Yeah.
No, he's happy with his new contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And plus he got a $28 million signing bonus. So he got $56 million guaranteed.
That's interesting, man. I tell you what, I'm trying to still see how these teams can keep up with this salary cap on all these contracts that they're giving these players. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out how you get your salary cap how you keep it under control. How do you keep it under control?
I agree. They must know something. And what I'm thinking is if you realize that Apple is coming in and then also Amazon, so there might be more revenue coming because they're getting rid of DirecTV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. With Amazon and I think it was like 11 billion or 4 billion or something like that. It was in the B's.
Yeah.
And these contracts with TVs, it's going to be a little bit different broadcasting these football games in this season as well.
Yeah. Hey, what did Jason say? I missed what Jason was saying.
Jason said something about training camp. What do we think about training camp?
What do you like least about training camp? It depends, Jason. Was when we were in California, that was a little bit, the weather was nice.
Yeah.
But being that far away from home was tough. It was tough.
But one of the things that I hate about training camp, that we had to do back in the day was it was a lot of running, a lot of hitting.
Yeah, it was.
And we got ready to play football. This day and time, these guys that have no helmets, no pads, and they go out and just walk through. And
now, if we had it like that, it would have been fun to go to California. But
they have days off. We didn't have no days off. You might have the day off after the preseason game.
That was it. That was it.
You was grinding. You were trying to make the team.
Yeah. But you're right. Today is totally different. You do have days off. You're not required to be in pads like we were.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. And I remember when I was a player, we had what we call good mornings. And we had a Hall of Fame coach named Ernie Stautner, who was the Hall of Fame. And we run at each other full speed. And at the first thing, and I guess that was to get you acclimated to hitting because it was hard, helmet to helmet. And we always say, good morning, bam, good morning, bam.
And we have live practice, live scrimmages.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Just to get the timing down and everything.
Yeah. And when Jimmy Johnson got here, we did the same thing. We we had middle drills. We had 12 plays that was full contact. live and get after it. And when he first got here, we did that during the season too. But training camp, you had to be ready. You had to be ready to go to training camp. If you're not, you're not going to last. You'll be leaving on that asthma field.
And I just think too, you was in better condition. You went into camp all ready to go. I think these guys now, I think they get in shape while they're in training camp versus we was in shape when we got there.
Yeah.
A little bit more running, a little bit different environment.
No question.
Yeah.
No question. But and to the thing too is most preseason games and regular season games was 65 to 68 plays. Now you're getting close to 90 plays a game.
Absolutely. It's a faster paced game. Yeah, they're moving.
Yeah, it is. They're trying to get as many plays in the shortest period of time as they can. So that's a big time difference.
It's a little bit more entertaining, but it's a little bit more exciting with the way they pass and throw the ball and creating these run oriented, pass oriented type offenses. And it's interesting just the way things are happening. You got multiple sets of different receivers and tight ends and running back sets. So it's a whole different case game.
And speaking of that, going back to McLaren and his contract, do you think that the receivers are becoming more emphasized than the running backs, not tight ends, because tight ends are now becoming a bigger part of offenses because everybody has to play these 4 receiver or 3 receiver sets. But do you think that that's what's happening, is that receivers are getting more emphasized and that's why they're making more money? Obviously, Tyreek Hill started the trend.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, and you got your tight ends too. We talked about the tight ends. Now it's a whole different case scenario. These tight ends can only not block, but they can run. And they, Kelsey and all those guys, they doing a fantastic thing, way of playing this game and making the game more exciting. And so now you got these receivers that can run and make these big plays. So it's time, I guess they getting paid kind of like the quarterbacks almost back in the day.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They are in the $20 million range now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right with it. And this is a little bit off subject, but before I came on there, I was looking at Pro Football Talk, and Miles Sanders, the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, this was his comment. He was saying basically that the Eagles are like an all-star team, and that's why they're going to be the best team, obviously, in the NFC East and the best team in the NFC. But then I started thinking about it. This is a team. Now they do have it, and they got A.J. Brown.
Right.
A.J. Brown, when healthy, is a very good receiver. But is he and I asked this on Sunday, is he as much of an impact as of a T.O.? I don't think so, personally.
Well, he's in his 4th or 5th year. So I still think, too, that, looking at him last year, when he was healthy, he brought a lot to the table for the Titans, and I saw some replays of him playing, and I guess the 49ers, he actually literally won that game for the Titans, but because Derrick Henry was out. But I also think too that I think that they're gonna have so much talent that you can't cover and double certain players. So I think now it's going to be hard to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, no doubt.
Interesting, because I think Devontae Smith is the best receiver.
I'm not saying he's not. I think he's still got a little ways to go. He's a little light in the pants, but I'm telling you, for his experience and being able to release. But I just think, after 1 year, I think Devontae Smith gonna be devastated. He's gonna be an awesome receiver, no doubt.
No question.
But I think AJ is just gonna be the main. He's gonna be the main focus on that offense.
Mm-hmm. And you got Dallas Goedert. We talked about tight ends and everything.
Yeah.
I just think that you need to walk in silently because every team is reading this. I think when we talked about, and the reason I talked about that is McLaren. Washington is going to be better, obviously, and now.
But they can double. They can double McLaren where now with the Philadelphia receiver, you got to pick and choose who you got to double. So
Yeah, but I think there are teams in the NFC East that can do this, and they can always go into a zone.
yeah, they can do a zone, and they could either bring in an extra defensive back
Exactly.
for a linebacker too. So yeah, you can have to
Exactly.
punt
And
for
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion on there. You need, obviously, you're going to have a running game. Jalen Hurts is going to have to play really well. And I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, but I also know that he has his limitations. So those things are going to factor into it. I don't think they're going to be clear-cut favorites to win the East. I don't know.
I think if they make some adjustments on the style of offense and the plays that they're going to be calling, I think if they can do that, the tweaking here and tweaking there in this offseason, like I said, the hidden factor is what done happened between February and up into training camp. I think, the timing, how much time you're spending with the different personnel sets, and how you can become creative in your offensive scheme of things. And so if that happened, then Philadelphia's gonna be hard to beat. But I just think the NFC East gonna be a division that as we know, no team have won back-to-back NFC East championship in the last since 2003 or 4, something like that. So yeah, it's gonna be different.
But do you think they are the most physically talented team?
I still say in the NFC East, I mean, Dallas got some great receivers, I think, too. They lost Amari Cooper, of course.
Yeah.
And in Washington, it's gonna be hard to beat them because they got a defense.
Yeah.
So and the Giants, they was in a lot of games last year. I think now with the new coaches and some of the things that they implementing, and they moving Saquon out to different, they're gonna move him around in the offense. So now it's gonna be kind of hard to kind of win and beat the Giants because of the fact that they lost 3 games last year. They could easily won. So
exactly,
Huh?
And that's my point is what factors into all football is health. The Giants got a lot of injuries last year.
Yep.
The one thing about the Giants, they weren't undisciplined. They just had injuries, and the coach wasn't using the player's ability to the maximum.
And then if you can get off that 18 points a game, if you can get 24 to 28 points a game scoring, then this be a whole different case scenario for the Giants. I think the defense played well. The defense played well.
And the same thing with Washington is the same thing. I'm obviously not a Washington fan, but Washington does have a quarterback now. You can say what you want. Wentz didn't win the Super Bowl, but he helped.
He was on the team.
He helped them get to games to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, what happened last year with the coach?
Things happen. It maybe wasn't the right system.
When you go down to Jacksonville and lose in Jacksonville the last game, and you with the coach.
But is it one player that makes that much of a difference?
You shouldn't lose to the Jaguars with all the problems that they had.
So you put all the blame on him, and it's a team.
You're absolutely right. You put he making $30 million a year. Who else you gonna blame?
You can blame quite a few people.
I'm telling you, you make $30 million a year, you need to score 30 points. I'm just saying though, Jim. I mean, he kind of folded up the tent. And we talked about Kyler Murray. He folded up the tent too. I mean, some of the quarterbacks folded their tents at the end of the season.
I would agree with to a certain extent, but they are under a magnifying glass because all these guys are getting paid a substantial amount of money.
Absolutely.
But you got to have the right people around them. The quarterback for the Rams, Matt. I can't even. His name escapes me.
You talking about Matt from Detroit?
Stafford. Stafford.
Yeah,
but he had the same abilities at Detroit, but you put people around him that makes him more Cooper Cup, Odell Beckham. I can't remember that. There was another receiver.
Robert
Woods, and all these guys. And then you have on defense, you have Jalen Ramsey. You have, obviously, the Beast in there. So,
but you know what, though, Jim? This is why when I looked at the Rams, I look at their play calling, too.
mm-hmm.
How quickly you can get the ball in and out of the hand from the quarterback. Some of these teams let the quarterback hold the ball too long.
Yeah.
It's devastating. So what I like about the Rams offense last year, which is the guy, the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings, you better watch the Minnesota Vikings. Their style.
Jason's doing backflips right now. You know.
I know. I'm not. I'm just telling you what's gonna happen. I'm talking about who's part of that success story because of the Rams. The offensive coordinator knew exactly how to use the talent and skill set that they had on that team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So
I agree. But just what I'm saying is basically that's what Philly's issue is going to be. Can they use them? Because if you remember, everybody was complaining about them not running the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then they had Fletcher Jenkins was complaining how they ran the defense.
Yeah.
They adjusted, and you can say what you want, they still have not beat a winning team.
Yeah, last year they didn't hardly beat a winning team, and that's the good thing that I can say about the Cowboys. They got two good running backs.
Yeah,
and I think Saquon got to be healthy. He got to get his confidence back like he did a couple of years ago. I think their Giants gonna be good, and I also with McKissick back in with the Commandos, the running back. He brings a dynamic in there. He kind of like
that's what I'm saying.
He can catch and run. And so I think the NFC East is going to be that week to week. Might go into the last 2 weeks.
I agree. And that's what I'm trying to get to the point is that I think the NFC East is going to be a lot more competitive this year. No team is going like the Cowboys did win all their NFC East games.
Yeah.
I think that all the teams have improved enough that it's not going to be somebody who runs away with the division.
Absolutely. Which I think, like I said again, since the Cowboys won last year, it's going to be somebody different this year.
You don't know that. You can't say that. But I don't know if the Cowboys are going to win it, but they'll be in the race.
They might finish second.
Oh, my goodness.
They might be a wild card team. They ain't going to be the division champion.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, I'm telling you, just like I told you, I'm just telling you early on.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys did some good things this offseason. But what people don't understand, the Giants signed 6 offensive linemen in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a little bit, that's gonna be the strength of moving that ball.
Yeah, but if you know anything about offensive line, what is the key to being a great offensive line? Continuity.
Yep.
And so it's, again, I keep going to this, is health.
Well, we got a center now. We got a center that's I know we called his name a couple of weeks ago, but he have a hell of a nickname, and so I like it. So it started with the center. So
we're gonna talk about the Giants a little later.
Yeah.
So let's get on there. All these teams, there's still Debo out in San Francisco is still complaining about his issues. Obviously, up in Seattle, we still have the issue there in Seattle. And those things are some things that we're going to have to watch because most likely these players are not going to play in the preseason, which is, to me, when we were coming up, you'd rather play and get yourself in the speed of the game and get yourself in game shape. But players are different today. But there's some receivers that are not happy because of obviously the contractors are being thrown around.
Absolutely. But the only thing I can say is you put your head down and get in shape, and if you have a good successful year, you can get you a nice little guaranteed contract.
You hope.
I hope.
You hope.
Yeah.
You hope, because not everybody is, like you said, there's only so much money to go around.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
That's true. Yeah. On another subject, Mike Tomlin was asked on a podcast if he could avoid a losing season without Big Ben at quarterback, and Tomlin, calm and confident, said that we'll figure it out. Trubisky and the rookie will do a great job. The one thing about Tomlin is he's underrated. Is that first of all, he's never had a losing season. Second, we always talk about certain teams that have the way.
Yeah.
Just like we talk about Belichick and the Patriots way. Yeah. Well, people don't talk about the Pittsburgh way.
Right.
They know what to expect from Tomlin, and they know the type of football Pittsburgh plays.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that'll continue this year, either if Trubisky or the rookie is the starter. That's just the way it is.
I think so too. I just think there's an expectation in that atmosphere, in that room, that you just don't. The one thing I loved about the Steelers, you just don't win on offense, just don't win on defense. You win on special teams. You win. They have a complete team, and they in all three phases they win. And another thing too is game preparation. They seem to me they are prepared each and every game. So it's kind of hard to defeat them. And he can come in here and
I
mess with.
kind of need your phone.
You need my phone? I'm on that phone. So
I need
well, you're going to get it next when I get off. So
Well,
hang
that's not fair.
it is fair. We'll get wrong.
You get it first. Run
I'm talking.
outside.
Oh my goodness.
Go put a phone on charge. Go put a phone on charge. And I'll talk with you later.
Oh my goodness. Grandpa, way to go, Grandpa.
No, but you know what? I'm gonna get that whoop out.
Oh, somebody from CPS might have heard that.
I don't care.
Oh.
But I do think the Steelers gonna be in the mix. Just proving from the past and the phases of all the game and the way the players once they get there, seem like it's just something about being a complete team.
Yeah. And the thing about the Steelers is you still got TJ Watts and you still got Hayward on this team. So you still got some defensive, and they signed Mika Fitzpatrick back.
Yeah.
And you got some players on it. It's not like it's just start over. Now they're gonna have to be Najee Harris has got to grow up. We talk about wide receivers. Their wide receivers are gonna have to play better, regardless of who the starting.
Yeah, Chase have improved. Wide receiver Chase have improved, but I just think too that their defense gonna be tight.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Now we can get on to Giants news.
What we got on the Giants news?
First of all, I was reading about Thibodeau, and they said he has a hip injury.
Oh,
and that concerns me because in OTAs he's already got a hip injury, and they said it's not significant, but that's something to be concerned about this early in his career, and already has a hip injury.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Michael Strahan says he thinks he's going to be a heck of a player in the NFL. He's going to be a really good player in the NFL.
Yeah, one of the things that I used to notice everything. Lawrence Taylor, he did a lot of power cleans, and he come from the ground and come up, and so from his lower knee and to up here, he could nobody stop him, and so he worked on that all the time. He did so many of those, and he just did a lot of them right. And I'm telling you, if some of these players would take notes of some of the guys who been successful, I saw where Barry Sanders did a lot of shoulder things. I mean, he was real strong in the shoulders. I mean, you wasn't going to arm tackle him or grab that ball from him or fumble. He's not going to fumble. It's certain things, certain types of lifts that you can do in the offseason can help improve your effectiveness in these games. And so maybe these young guys need to take some notes, call some of these old guys up and say, hey, what did you do? What kind of exercise, what kind of
Exactly.
training should I do? And I mean,
Exactly.
if you implement some of that training, Jim, you know as well as I did, if I was a defensive lineman and I ran across a guy that's in the 100 sack club like you and some of these other guys, I would want to know that. And so those are the things I think some of these guys need to know, that certain parts of the game you still got to know.
And I agree with you because my big thing was power cleans
Mm-hmm.
and inclines.
Yep.
Because it was more position. It was for my position. Inclines because I used my hands to lock out on people, and the power clean, it helped me with explosion. So it was more position specific.
Right.
So these things happen, and you're right on that. Is that wide receivers need to do different drills than a defensive lineman. You can't, and the smart coaches know that you can't train in strength coaches everybody the same, because there's certain needs at certain positions.
I know I bench press my max was 360 bench, and I could stock block. Man, once I get on top of that DB and start stock blocking, he wasn't going nowhere. I tell you, and I was one of the best wide receiver blocking downfield, and that was one of the things that we had. That was part of our game plan, is go out there and block these DBs 10, 12 yards down the field.
Yeah, man, that made you effective in the running game too, because you have receivers like yourself that could block, and they were strong enough to sustain the block.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's good. That's good. Now, got some other things.
What's that?
Did the Giants have the best front four for the 50s and the early 60s? Did they have the greatest front four of all time?
Well, they had one of the most consistent front fours during that time era, because they were winning not back then. They would play 12 games a season. They were winning 9 games almost every season. I mean, and they was going in the late 50s and going into the 60s. They had some of the best defensive linemen that you could find in the league. No doubt. They were
and you can see them up there: Robitelli, Modisky, Greer, Rosie Greer.
Yep.
And he became an actor in I don't know how to say that, Kotrovic.
Yeah,
there were multiple Pro Bowls, but it's hard because you look at some of the great defensive lines within the NFL, and the same one was the greatest, Steel Curtain.
Yeah. And I do say in 1963, the Giants won 3 consecutive NFC East conferences. White, Tillman, those guys.
Oh yeah,
Frank Gifford. They were dominating teams.
No question.
Back then.
So I would say they probably were the best of their era.
Yeah.
Because later on you had Marilyn Olsen.
The Rams.
Jones.
Yeah.
The Rams front four.
Yeah. You had Minnesota Vikings had a great.
Yeah, Perfect People Eater.
Yeah.
I mean, the monsters of the Midway.
But you have to give it to the Giants. They started.
No, I'm not taking anything away from them.
No, I'm just saying they the late 80s, late 50s, and the early 60s, in the 1960s, they were dominating.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny because Tom Landry was the defensive coordinator. He was a player coach, and Vince Lombardi was the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Yeah.
And they went from New York to the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep. And then Rosie Greer did, because he had a movie career, did go to the Fearsome Foursome.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about, looking back at the history of these legends. These guys, was trailblazers. Yeah.
Oh, no question. No question. They basically they set up the game for us to come, and just as we did for players after us, they set up the game, and now you have players that are going to set up the game for the next era, the next guys that come in, the Thibodeau's, the Micah Parsons. I mean, they set them up. Micah Parsons and Lawrence Taylor are the same size. Can you believe that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're the same size. I was shocked when I looked at that. And Micah Parsons is actually a little faster than Lawrence Taylor.
I don't know about that. I don't.
I'm just telling you.
What is 40 time?
I think he was like a 4.5 something.
Yeah, I know Lawrence Taylor ran 4.5 every time I saw him. So,
but I think I looked at the stats, and I thought that I'm not saying that Parsons is LT. I'm just saying that they have the same dimensions.
Well, I was impressed the way he came in and played as a first year player. So we'll see if he can continue that.
Yeah, but
you know what I love about what Dallas did with him, they started moving him around, kind of like it reminded me of what they did with the Giants with LT. They, it was up where we're gonna be and what gap he's gonna shoot.
Yep. Oh, no question.
Yeah,
no question.
So Dan Quill doing a good job.
Yeah, but back to the Giants front four.
Yeah,
and sacks weren't registered then, but they had 91. They still said to have 91 and a half sacks in the season.
What?
91 and a half. Yes.
Yeah, it would have been outstanding if they were keeping those types of stats back then.
Yeah. No question. They would have been. And it's interesting because there are a lot of great players that don't get I went to a thing at the Super Bowl for the 100 Sack Club, but you didn't have Deacon. They talked about Deacon Jones' accomplishments, but there are a lot of players that don't get recognized for the accomplishments they had earlier in it because they didn't make sacks a stat until I think 1981.
Oh, that was just McCaffrey that had that 91.
Oh, just in the history, sacks at 91 and a half. Oh, okay, wow.
That's good.
Oh, he's fourth in Giants history.
Right.
In there. I was going to say, if they got 91 and a half, they were sacking everybody. I
know he wore that great number 75. I know George Martin wore that number after that then, but that says a lot. 71 and a half.
It really does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. So you have your grandson behind you playing with you, and he's going to end up being a defensive lineman. He's going to be a rush in.
He supposed to be real fast. What you want?
I am real fast.
Go until get ready. We'll give me some minutes and we'll get together.
Minutes.
You see what I have to live with?
Oh my goodness! 5 days.
My wife is back. She's back there sleeping today and they're running around.
The good thing about grandkids is that you can always send them back to their parents.
4 days. I'm taking
4 days left. You count the days now. They just got there.
I'm taking them back up to Frisco. Up there by the Cowboy Stadium. That's where they live.
Oh, really? Oh, I live in Frisco, so
yeah, they live in Frisco. Yeah, we Sterling Shepard was talking a little bit today. He was talking about making some big plays and the new offense. He seemed like he's excited.
Yeah. And the Giants weren't a bad team. They were an unlucky team.
And Sterling Shepard needs to stay healthy.
Yeah. All of them need to stay healthy.
Yeah.
All of them need to stay healthy. They got talent. And that's why I asked you that question. Who's the most talented team? It's hard to say who's the most talented team in the NFC East because the Giants have talent, the Commanders have talent, obviously the Eagles have talent, and the Cowboys have talent. So
yeah, it's gonna be a good year to see what happened with the NFC East.
And then they talking about Sterling Shepard. He's saying potential is the one thing, execution, and that's the thing. The teams that execute the best are going to be the winning teams.
Absolutely.
I mean, the ones that don't shoot themselves in the foot.
Right.
Most of the time, it's the team that controls the penalties.
Well, one of the things that I remember last year, we jumped off sides with 0 seconds left
I remember that.
and missed that, and they missed the field goal. But
And had the re-kick.
Outside, they got to keep the field goal and won the game. So that like you said, that mental preparation is one of the things that we got to overcome.
Yeah, and that's where every team.
Yeah,
that's how you become successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing. Now, they're talking about the linebacker. Now we're going. The rookie linebacker injury has been healed. Is that for the? It will be there early in camp, so that must be for the Giants.
Yeah. I think he will be okay, and that's good to get everybody back healthy and making sure we start this training camp off and going. And 3 weeks will be here before you know it. Training camp starts.
No question. But this is always kind of, I've wondered about this. How can you get in the way training camps are now? How can you get injured? You don't hit nobody. You have one day at pads and one day at hitting.
I don't know. I need to start going to training camp just to take notes, because back in the day I didn't see nobody getting hurt in training camp.
Yeah, and then the funny thing about it,
Marlene
made it today.
I sent her get on the J&B talking shop.
Marlene is your friend, but she is a huge Cowboy fan.
Whatever.
She is your friend, but she is, Marlene, we don't like them Giants, do we? The only Giant we like is Byron, right?
Hey, we gonna win her over. We gonna win her over. So I'm gonna buy her a Giant shirt.
She'll never wear it. She'll never wear it.
That's good. That's good.
But it's good to see you, Marlene. I'm glad you can make it tonight and antagonize Byron.
That's good. I'm glad.
Well, let's go to the Cowboys news. Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett,
is giving Mike McCarthy advice.
What did he say?
She was out of town. It said that basically, I looked it up, and he was telling them basically they played well last year. They just didn't beat San Francisco. But how can you say that? Jason Garrett's giving this guy advice on that. But they were the most penalized team in the NFL.
The Cowboys.
Did you hear me? The Dallas Cowboys were the most penalized team in the NFL, and they played well.
So what's going to happen this year?
What's that?
Give me the remedy of what's going to happen this year.
The thing is that they're going to be more disciplined.
By what measure? They still got the same coaches.
They got the same, but they're going to be more demanding on them there. And they got some guys, Laurel Collins.
Let me tell you something. Dallas have never been disciplined on penalties.
That's not true.
They always been in the top the last couple of years.
That is not true.
They haven't. They've been in the
penalty. We were the least penalized team in the NFL.
They've been in the penalty box.
Right now, but if they're penalized like that, it's going to be a long season.
Absolutely.
That is not true.
Yeah.
Dallas would have to do. They have to demand. The players have to demand it from themselves, and the coaches have to demand it from them.
Well, I'm glad Jason Garrett. I'm glad Jason Garrett had a comment about it, because he's been over there in the USFL watching them play all spring, and so
clapping his hands.
He know a little bit more about what the Cowboys need by him looking and observing football.
Yeah. And he didn't want to really say anything negative about McCartney.
And he's not that type of person anyway.
Jason's not. Because I played with Jason, and he's not that kind of player.
Yeah, he's a first-class person. But I think he wants what's best for the Cowboys. I really do.
Yeah, of course he does.
And he wants what's best for the Giants.
Of course. His dad was a defensive coordinator for Jim Garrett.
Yeah.
Jim Garrett is from about 20 miles from where I grew up. He grew up on Ocean Township in Ocean, New Jersey, and I grew up on the shore too.
Yeah.
And we're about 20. We used to play. We used to kill them, but that's another story. in high school, but Jim Garrett was a heck of a man. He was a longtime scout. His dad was a longtime scout for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Great family.
Yeah, rest in peace. But I don't think anybody's going to take, after what happened with New York, a lot of in Jason's comments. And that's just Jason's personality. He's a good guy. Jason is a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's saying they missed going to the second round by a few seconds. Well, the one thing about that is it's the only thing close counts in is horseshoes.
Absolutely.
That's the only time you get points is in the horseshoes.
Absolutely.
So,
and one of the things that's important is always evaluate the critical part of how you could get to the next to that championship game or Super Bowl. Dallas was close. They was really close, but yet close is only good in horseshoes.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I gotta say is you gotta have leadership in your locker room. There was a comment made about Jason that he's excited about these young players. Who's going to lead them? Who's going to sit out there and show them the way? Like teams that are successful, they usually have players play and show everybody else. They're not always the greatest leaders, but their performance on the field leads other players to play at a higher level.
And that's what's important. You got to have these leaders step up, players leaders as well. You know that. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
Yeah. Now they're talking about a player they call him Big Cat. The original Big Cat was Leon Lett, 7th round pick from Emporia State. Player Big Cat. Said his name is Marcavius Bryant. And he's 6'4", 254. And he was a captain and second team selection at Auburn.
Okay.
He was first team all it wasn't ACC, SEC then. And he transferred for a year. He took that 5th year of eligibility and went to UCF. And he was a free agent that tried out there. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I think that the Cowboys are going to go out and look at something like Anthony Barr or someone like that to help them with their pass rush if they deem that necessary.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, well, you know, it's just going to depend on what he can do in the couple of preseason games and what he can do on the tapes but you know, being big is one thing, but playing the game of football is another.
Yeah, and what concerns me about how football is now is the better athletes are going to show out, but the better players might get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because the better athletes are always going to look more athletic, but if the guy can play and he makes plays, how many chances is he going to get on a preseason game? And that's going to be the key.
That's going to be the key. But, you know, they don't hardly play their starters no more in the preseason game.
Yeah. And he has to make it to a certain period of time, and he's going to have to be really good in drills in practice.
It's only about 10 players going to get a shot to make that 53-man roster.
You're right.
They about know the top 40 who they really want on the team and the structure of the direction that they want to go, but it's a small number.
Yeah. So that's
I sometimes you got to remind people of this. Right now, they're keeping anywhere between 10 to 12 players on the practice roster, especially first year players.
That's true.
So
that's true.
They might can keep them around on that practice roster.
That's true. And that's a possibility. And let them mature and grow a little bit. Now let's go to a little bit of NBA news. Mm-hmm. Kyrie Irving opted in for, I think it was $36.4 million.
Okay.
With the Nets. So he's staying with the Nets. Mm-hmm. Russell Westbrook is staying with the Lakers.
I saw that.
And,
47 million.
and Jalen Brunson, who is a Dallas Maverick, who was the second leading scorer for the Dallas Mavericks,
Yep.
is supposedly going to sign with the New York Knicks.
Yep. He's out of here.
And his dad is a assistant coach there. And I was kind of shocked at it because Mark Cuban is sending himself, a couple of players, and the general manager to try to talk to him and see if they can talk him out of going.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now, if the Knicks offered over 100 million and Dallas are at 55 million, where you gonna go?
Well, he can max out at Dallas. He can get a 5-year max. He can only get 4 years with the Knicks. And here's another thing, and that's true. Kyrie and Westbrook had no choice. Both of them, nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted Kyrie and Westbrook, and that's it, because they are older players, and Kyrie is but Kyrie still got talent.
Yeah.
I thought the Lakers would possibly get him. Westbrook has got to figure out how to fit into the Lakers scheme.
Well, Westbrook, he's gonna make 47 million, which is the third highest paid NBA player. And you know he's gonna stay there. He got to stay there. He got nowhere else to go.
No question. No question. But you never know. Bradley Beal opted out. Yeah. Bradley Beal opted out for the Washington Wizards, and he can get the max from the Wizards now. And also he can only get 4 years, or the Larry Bird rule, they call it.
Yeah, Larry Bird rule, and honestly, nobody else want to really sign those guys. So
yeah, that Bradley Beal, yes, but he was injured last year. He broke his wrist.
Yeah.
So Jalen Brunson, back to Brunson, is that they're sending the general manager, they're sending a couple players, and Mark Cuban up there. Brunson can get more money in Dallas, and here's why I say this: is if you go to New York, automatically the tax rate is a lot higher. There's no state income tax in Dallas or Texas. So he'll make more money here with a maxed out contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're saying Bill is rumored to go to the Knicks too. Ooh. They're going to have to get rid of some people to get under it, or they're going to have to pay a luxury tax.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Brunson, he took his game to a whole nother level in the playoff, though.
He did. He really did.
He went from 18 to 20-some points a game. So
yeah, but he was on that Villanova team too.
Yeah.
And won the national championship.
Right, exactly.
So yeah.
He got his groove going in the NBA now. So
yeah, he's doing well. Mm-hmm. I would like to see him stay with the Mavericks, but I don't think that's very likely at this point.
You're right.
There could be some interesting moves for all these teams. Yeah. Well, we're on the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
Yeah. You need to get your grandson up here, and we can talk about. He probably is a 26-point scorer.
Well, this one here is he's a lefty.
I'm a lefty.
And he scored 10 points the other day. He scored 10 points.
Yeah.
10 points.
Yeah, 10 points.
How old are you?
He's 8.
My son was dunking at 8 years old.
Did you hear that? He said he don't believe it, but he hear it.
He was playing against 11-year-olds.
Oh yeah, Landon. He plays up.
Landon.
You know what? The fastest guy on the team.
You're the fastest guy, Landon.
Yep.
He won the Super Bowl this year and showed me his big thing. And guess what he called? He said, "Papa scored 2 touchdowns today."
There you go. Wide receiver, Landon.
We were playing against 4th graders.
You were playing against. Oh man,
he's a second grader. He's a second grader.
You were playing against the big boys. Yeah.
He can fly. So we got the next 3 days. We're gonna be training. So we in training.
Good. In the middle of the day, Landon, get ready for it. But you know what time it is, Landon?
What?
Landon, it's victory time. It means that go into that victory.
Dance. Do you have a dance?
No. You got to dance?
Yeah, I do have a dance.
Pawpaw can't dance. He never could dance.
Can you dance? What can show me your dance?
I don't want to.
You don't want to? Okay. I got
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride Experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.
All right, Mac.